Hey everybody, what's up? We're here with the Timeless reading. Welcome. The first two cards that we have out are King of Wands and Three of Wands. I'm also seeing the Devil come out. And Two of Pentacles. And the Lovers. And the Two of Swords. Okay. King of Wands and Three of Wands, I'd say that you're in a position where there is a lot that you have accomplished. Most of all, you can feel like you've accomplished things by taking control, taking initiative, not waiting around, but doing something if you want it done, and that's gotten you really far, that it's been a sufficient way to travel and to accomplish the things that you've been wanting to accomplish. This even feels like a bit prestigious, where you may be looking to yourself right now in this moment, recognizing yourself and feel like, wow, look at all of this stuff that I've done because I was the one to do it. You know, like I took control of my life, or I was assertive in this way, or I was progressive in this way, or proactive in this way. And then like, look at what I've done because of that. So it feels like a moment where you can even be taking a look at sort of all of the ground that you've covered. It does feel like a moment of looking back into the past. The way that I'm seeing this is that this feels like you facing forward, and this feels like you facing backwards, and I feel like you're over here sort of with your back turned to the future, and more so looking back at the past and like all of the ground that you've covered to get to this point. Like if you started here and you traveled all the way over here, it feels like then turning around and looking at like everything that you have done, everything that you did. Having Devil and having Two of Pentacles, this can mean that when it came to things that would sort of knock you off your path or sway you or have you be all up in the business of something that sort of takes away from what you want to be doing and the points of things that can feel like a distraction, things that can feel like a temptation, things that can feel like, I'm searching for something here. Things that would cloud the soul. And you having to deal with these times. It's like every time the devil would pop up and there would be something going on within the environment that could have been really difficult to work with, because the devil can kind of be like a kryptonite that you end up working with, and it doesn't just have to be one thing. This can be like all of the different things that would sway you away from your path. It can be all of the different things that you may have wanted to be the answer, or just anything that is not, anything that we try to assign meaning to that's not really the meaning that it has even. Every time something has come up where you look at it and you're like, that isn't the way to go, but it is tempting to go in that direction. This feels like I'm looking back at all of the stuff that I've done getting to this point, and I'm seeing where there were all of those things that popped up where I had to like figure out what was the most important thing to be focusing on, and also how to deal with times that felt like they could really pull me away from where I was trying to go. You know, it feels like if you have something that you're trying to accomplish and you have something that's popping up that can feel very seductive to pull you away from what you're trying to do and be like, prioritize me. But when you really get down to it, you look at it and you know that is just gonna detract from what you're trying to do. It's like all of the times that has happened. So I feel like there's a review of that's going on. And also, this feels like for some of you, I don't know if this is a separate thing or this all goes together, but I'm also seeing the Lovers and I'm seeing Two of Swords. And what this can mean is sort of what you are emphasizing, what you are prioritizing. This can have to do with like your relationships with people that you're around, people that you are connecting with, people that you're working with, relationships that you're working within. It doesn't only have to be people though, it can be things that you feel called in the direction of, and then taking time to assess, why am I being called this way, and is that a call that I want to answer? Do I want to get sucked into that type of cycle? And then sort of go from there. I wonder too, for some of you, if there is something going on with like decisions and relationships and what you really want to be focusing on, like what's actually real solid stuff for you versus what's something that looks like it might be what you need or what you want on the surface level, and then you take a step deeper and you realize that's not what it is at all, and it was an illusion, you know, and you were being, something behind that was magnetizing you and it wasn't the thing that you thought it was. All of the Saturn lessons that you've gone through, all of them, to get to this point and to keep putting your energy into what feels important to you. I'm seeing a lot of discipline that you have. Why it feels more challenging to be disciplined when you're in this state of King of Wands is that King of Wands is the part of you that's really motivated by your fire energy, by your passion. And so when you have things like the Devil come up that are very magnetizing, but may not really be what you're looking for, but can really be putting on a good show, like convincing you that that's what you're looking for. Like, how do you not be convinced? And how do you see through that? So when you're working with a part of yourself that is very magnetic and that uses like a magnetic principle to figure out action and choices and behavior and where you're going and what's driving you, when you have things that are sort of using that same mechanism with the Devil coming up, how do you maneuver through those situations? How do you find yourself through those situations? And having Saturn here, this almost feels like a plaque that you're being given. It feels like, look at the accomplishment, look at the stuff that you had to go through that really could have thrown you off if you didn't take a deeper look at that, and you could have just like really fell for it. And I feel like this is a recognition that you didn't fall for those things, or if you did, you like caught on to what was going on and sort of pulled yourself back to where you needed to be. There's also a lot of self-control here too, because this is feeling like an Emperor type of King of Wands to me. Yeah, to also have the Ace of Swords, wow, we have the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Swords just came out. I mean, having King of Wands and also having Ace of Swords, I feel like you're really, really, really clear-headed. I get the sense that you're seeing through anything. The Devil will come through and it sort of is a mask for something else. To have King of Wands and to have Ace of Swords, it means that you're seeing through that. Like, you have X-ray vision to be able to see what's going on behind there and know things for what they are. And I also feel too like you definitely would not have gone this far if you were not recognizing the Saturnian things that need to be recognized, which is about not falling for instant gratification when it's something that you need to put in a longer effort with, when it comes to Saturn, there are lessons that have to be recognized about discipline, about not failing to see the value of like more long-term growth that we put in, of consistency, of practice, of gaining skill through experience, of things not just being instantaneous. And also to working with less sometimes, working in challenging conditions, can even feel like extreme conditions that we work within, and especially putting in the hard work when it comes to Saturn, like answering all of the questions that Saturn is asking you and meeting all of the requirements that Saturn is requiring from you to really show up and to do a good job and to not get distracted, and to make sure that you're prioritizing the things that are actually important to you and not just more distractions that you could be distracting yourself with. So there's been a lot when things have come up where I feel like it may not have been fun always prioritizing the things that needed to be prioritized. The devil can be that if you just give into it, then it won't have to be so difficult for you. But then it cheats you out of having those bigger results that Saturn is going to give to you. And this feels like having to know the difference when you are tempted, when things do come through that are challenging for you. Because this isn't just like, if you're not swayed at all, you being able to run through the obstacle course and be like, wow, look what I just did. I feel like this element of challenge with the devil here, of not being caught up within some superficial materialism that isn't really going to deliver what you're looking for. Saturn's like, I'll give you what you want if you do this the right way. And the devil is coming through being like, I'll give you what you want if you do it my way, but then you don't really get what you want. That's really the illusion with the devil. And so this feels like having to work with, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. You have to work with shadow Capricorn, shadow Saturn, and then also the light energy of Saturn, the light energy of Capricorn, which shadow Capricorn will be like wanting to have those lasting, long-standing results and things materialize, shadow Capricorn, without having to work for it, and also too trying to fit things places that they're not really meant to go. It's like wanting to have something that's a knockoff and wanting it to do those things that the real deal is going to actually do, and then it's not going to do that for you. It's kind of like that thing that almost fits but doesn't really, and the devil can really trick you into thinking like it'll be the same thing. It's like the difference between using quality material when it's important. When you need to use quality material versus something that's not quality material, and then you build the same thing and you see one of them is a long-lasting, standing structure, and the other one is something that's going to fall over when the wind blows too hard. And so something can even be like, if I don't have to utilize my resources and go there and get the best quality to build this, I have all the stuff that I need right here, and it's like not really the right ingredients, and you try to like build it up and you're like, wow, look at that, an instant thing that I just built, and then it's like really not the same quality as the other thing, and that thing is going to come tumbling down. And so, but at the same time, there can be that momentary satisfaction of like, look, I just built this whole thing, even though building that other thing would have taken you longer, but it would have been something that isn't just going to be knocked over. And so this feels like knowing the difference, and sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it does matter. And it feels like when this comes to the stuff that matters, knowing the difference. Because it's like, if you just need to build something up for a day and it doesn't matter if it lasts or not, it doesn't have to be the best quality stuff that you're using for it. But when it's something that you want to last, you have to do it the right way. And those are sort of the rules of Saturn here with this. Like if something is worth it to you and if something matters to you, it's worth putting in the quality and it's worth putting in the time, rather than it just being about something instantaneous where, again, you can like give into, I just want to see something immediately, or I want this fixed, or that thing that I feel like I'm lacking, I want to like fit something there so I don't have to feel this. And it can be with anything within our lives where we really need to show up, where what we're doing counts, and also how we're doing it counts, and also like what we're utilizing to do those things counts as well, like the quality, the craftsmanship. I'm seeing this again. There's definitely a theme that's coming up that's associated with what you want through and through versus what is something that looks like it like mirrors or almost iterates what you want, but only on the surface, and on a deeper level it won't actually be. Because I'm seeing the devil come through, and I'm seeing an offer, and this feels like, and it can even be a way that you go about doing things, you know? This can be something that's motivated within you to be acquiring something that you want in a way that you have to look and see what's motivating you. For some of you, this is somebody else that's coming through that maybe wants you to be part of something, or is wanting to give you something or incorporate something together, and you have to look at what their motivation is with the devil. This can be a difficult thing to be coming through. Why? If you are the one that's the Queen of Cups here, you can be feeling kind of lonely right now. There can be something that's going on that doesn't feel particularly ideal for you either, and it feels like a time when the part of you that may just want a quick fix can possibly be distracted or seduced by this idea. And coming back to this notion of prioritizing what you want through and through versus the possibility of prioritizing something that's only going to be what you need on the surface, or only going to be what you want on the surface, or only going to be compatible with you on the surface, on a surface level, and then when you go deeper to it, you'll be like, what was I thinking? And knowing the difference between these energies. And I don't think this is the first time by any means that you've been through something like this. This looks like you know what's going on. It's not something that you don't know what's happening. I think you've been through this before. It may not be the same exact situation, but it will feel like a karmic cycle that you already, I feel like, understand, having the World here and having King of Wands here. I feel like you've already gone through this obstacle course. You know how to go through it. You sort of know what's happening. That doesn't mean that it's any less tempting to go in that direction, but it can mean that just because there's awareness doesn't mean that those feelings that you're experiencing are any less real, or that pull is any less magnetizing. However, there can be a stepping back from that to observe in a bigger way what's going on. Like, why is this happening? Why is this appealing to you? Where is this coming from? What's motivating it? What am I really looking for here? And maybe I can give you some deeper context into something that's going on, that maybe you want the dynamic to change. Maybe you want something going on in the environment to shift. Maybe you don't want things to be that way. Maybe you're looking for something, you're looking for a shift here. And there can be something that's coming through that's saying, like, there's maybe an easy way out of this that isn't really going to be what you're looking for, or there can be a way to maybe address this that may be a more difficult or more concentrated effort that needs to be put in, but can be more conducive to producing what it is that you are looking to experience here. I get the feeling of being like emotionally blinded by the devil, which feels like the devil on your shoulder whispering to you like, hey, we can do it like this, or we can go that way, or this can happen. And it does feel like this is, if you can look behind it and see where this is coming from, Feels like it's going to indicate something for you that maybe you weren't aware of before. Figuring out what you want, what you actually want, versus what looks like what you want on the surface level, and on a deeper level, it is not going to be compatible with what you're looking for. That's basically what's happening, and making sure that you're taking steps in a direction that is going to actually accomplish what you're trying to do, rather than dismantle what you're trying to do. It feels like not falling for the trick, whatever this is with the devil here. But the devil and the Nine of Cups can be something that's really convincing. Like, don't you want this so badly? It will feel like it speaks to all of the wounded parts of you and really pulls you in that direction. All of those parts of you that feel like you're going to find this thing that you're looking for outside of yourself. And it will really, really call to you. It will really pull you that way. Maybe also too, there's something that's going on with you where there's like a need that's not being met that you may be taking a closer look at, and that can be why some of you even like looking around externally. I don't know what this situation is exactly. It can definitely be in a relationship with another person, but it can be above and beyond that too. You know, it could even be a work situation that you're in. I do see you being clear. It doesn't feel like, with King of Wands, it doesn't look like there's anything that you are not seeing. It feels like there's an awareness sort of what's going on here with all of this, with where this is coming from even, and sort of what this is posing to you. Ultimately, I do feel like this impacts you on an emotional level, even though I'm seeing a lot of different stuff going on here where we have Wands, we have Pentacles, and we have Water too, and Swords, which is ultimately going to help you see what's happening. It feels like this is a chapter that's starting where choices and balancing and prioritizing, like choosing things, figuring out how to do things, though that's going to be popping up. And also too, I think trusting yourself to figure things out, maybe when you're in a position that feels more challenging to be within. To start off with the King of Wands and to end with Five of Pentacles, there can be something that you want to do, or even somewhere where you want to go, or something that you want to be experiencing right now where you feel like there's some type of limitation or something that you don't have access to potentially. Moving forward, I feel like you're going to have a breakthrough with this, recognizing what's real versus what's an illusion. Some of you, like, does this have to do with friendships? Does it have to do with relationships in general? Does it have to do with a specific relationship that you're in? Seeing the Lovers, it can be about choices that need to be made, especially given sort of the situation that you're in, what's going on within your environment, and what you want to be going on within your environment. And stuff that feels like it's required a lot of energy. Figuring out what you want, always coming back to this place of what is the thing that is what you actually want on a deeper level, or what is compatible with you on a deeper level, versus what may look like it's compatible with you on a surface level, but then you're going to get closer to it and realize that that wasn't really the case. And that can even be putting you in a position, because you have the Devil coming up and saying, hey, I'm an option too. It feels like it's doing something that's creating some type of emotional confusion with Queen of Wands and Two of Swords, but only because like it hasn't been called out that it's the Devil that's saying that's one of your options. When it's like, if you could zoom out from this and make sure that you're seeing what's behind the Devil, you would not be considering that as an option. You'd be seeing it as something other than that. Not a viable option, but is indicative of something. that you can look into and analyze, but not popping up so you can go that way, more so popping up to tell you something that you need to know and why you'd be susceptible to this happening. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'd like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.